Hello children, today we are going to learn the fourth unit of Honeysuckle, that is an Indian American woman in space, Kalpana Chawla. Before beginning this lesson, we'll try to understand about Kalpana Chawla. In 1997, an Indian American Kalpana Chawla was a part of the international crew aboard the US Space Shuttle Columbia, becoming the first woman born in India to go into space. Sadly, the second mission in Columbia ended in tragedy. Now, how the tragedy happened? Now, everything we are going to understand in this lesson. Now, see on second page, you may see this news report. Tragedy in space. US Space Shuttle Columbia breaks into flames. Now, in an unprecedented space tragedy, US Space Shuttle Columbia carrying India-born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla and 6 others broke apart in flames as it streaked over Texas towards its landing strip on Saturday, 1st February 2003, killing all 7 on board. The shuttle lost contact with NASA at about 9 a.m. in morning as it came in for landing. It was flying at an altitude of over 2 lakh feet and traveling at over 20,000 km per hour when ground control lost contact with the shuttle. Columbia had lifted off on 16th January 2003 from the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. It had stayed in orbit for 16 days and the 7 members crew conducted 80 experiments before it began its downward journey, which ended in tragedy. This was Columbia's 28th space flight, and the shuttle was said to be good for 100 flights. Now, what does the paragraph say? See here. US Space Shuttle Columbia, which was carrying Indian-born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla and 6 others, crashed over Texas. This is about this news, and the space shuttle that was crashed over Texas while landing on Saturday, 1st February 2003, killing all 7 members on board. On board means what? On the aircraft, which were there present on the aircraft. Sharp at 9 a.m., the shuttle lost its contact with NASA. It was flying at an altitude of 2 lakh feet and it was traveling. Its traveling speed was around 20,000 km per hour. When ground control lost its contact with the shuttle, Columbia took its 28th flight on 16th January 2003 from the Kennedy Space Center. See, this Kennedy Space Center, it is a place from where this Columbia lifted off. And it was its 28th flight. It stayed in orbit for 6 days and crew members did 80 experiments before beginning its tragic journey towards the land. See, in space, almost they did 80 experiments, different experiments. And the shuttle had been claimed to be good for 100 flights. The shuttle was made for 100 flights, but when it was on 28th flight, the tragedy happened. Now we'll turn to the lesson. What happened and who was Kalpana Chawla and how did she become the astronaut? Kalpana Chawla said that she never dreamed as a child in Karnal that she would cross the frontiers of space. It was enough that her parents allowed her to attend engineering college after she graduated from Tagore School. Allowed means what? Permitted. She was permitted. Okay. After, see Kalpana Chawla's birthplace. Where was Kalpana Chawla's birthplace? It is in Karnal. The birthplace is Karnal. It is in Haryana. She said that she never dreamed to ever cross the leaders of space even it was enough for her that her parents permitted her to attend engineering college after her graduation from Tagore School. See, it was her good luck that her parents allowed her to complete her graduation in engineering college, and from where she completed her school time in from Tagore School. After a Bachelor of Science degree in aeronautical engineering, against great opposition from her father, she went for a master's degree to the United States of America. She later earned her PhD in aerospace engineering. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian American woman astronaut to blast off launch pad at Cape Canaveral, Florida, and participate in a successful mission in space. Her family from India cheered along with staff at the Kennedy Space Center as they watched the Columbia liftoff. See, despite her father's opposition, Kalpana went for a master's degree. Her father was not ready to send her for higher education, but despite of her father's opposition, Kalpana went for a master's degree to the United States of America after her bachelor's degree in engineering, that is aeronautical engineering. Later, she did her PhD in aerospace engineering. She completed her PhD in aerospace engineering. She was the first Indo-American woman astronaut to take off from a rocket launching site at Cape Canaveral. She was the first Indian woman. Okay, and it was in Florida for a successful mission in space. Her family from India cheered along with the staff at a Kennedy Space Center as they watched Columbia lift off. Now the third paragraph. Kalpana was born in Karnal, Haryana, but was a naturalized US citizen, married to flight instructor Jean Perry Harrison. Besides being an astronaut, she was licensed to fly single and multi-engine land airplanes, single-engine seaplanes, and gliders. She was also a certified flight instructor. After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana began to consider another challenge. Applying to NASA's Space Shuttle program, she was first hired as a research scientist at NASA. In 1994, she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. See, what does this paragraph say? In this paragraph, we come to know that Kalpana's birthplace is Karnal. It was Karnal, Haryana. It is in Haryana, but she became a US citizen. She was married to flight instructor Jean Perry Harrison. Apart from being an astronaut, she was adept at flying single and multi-engine land airplanes, single-engine seaplanes, and gliders. She was also a certified flight instructor. See, besides all these things, apart from all these things, she had these kinds of qualifications. After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana took another challenge and applied to NASA's Space Shuttle program. First, she joined NASA as a research scientist. In the beginning, she joined as a research scientist, and in 1994, she was selected for training as an astronaut by NASA. So now, fourth one, when asked what it was like being a woman in her field, she replied, "I really never ever thought, while pursuing my studies or doing anything else, that I was a woman or a person from a small city or a different country. I pretty much had my dreams like anyone else, and I followed them. And people who were around me, fortunately, always encouraged me and said, if that's what you want to do, carry on." So here, pursuing is following or continuing. Following or continuing. People asked her about her feelings as being a woman in this field. She always replied that she never thought that she was a woman or she belonged to a small city from another country. Rather, she had her own dreams and she followed them like any person at that place. And fortunately, the people in her surrounding always motivated her to pursue, to complete her dreams, to fulfill her dreams, and carry on with the arenas of her choice. Whatever she wanted to do, the The people always encouraged her. Kalpana's first space mission in the Space Shuttle Columbia was 15 days, 16 hours, and 34 minutes long. During this time, she went around the Earth 252 times, traveling 10.45 million kilometers. The crew included a Japanese and a Ukrainian astronaut. The crew performed experiments such as pollinating plants to observe food growth in space and tests for making stronger metals and faster computer chips, all for a price tag of about $56 million. See, in this paragraph, what does it says? It says that Columbia was her first space mission. What was his first space mission? Columbia. It was, and that mission took around 15 days, 16 hours, and 34 minutes to complete. She covered 10.45 kilometers, 10.45 million kilometers, while orbiting around the Earth for 252 times. The crew had a Japanese and Ukrainian astronaut. The crew tried to pollinate plants to check food growth and in space and conducted tests for making stronger metals and faster computer chips, all for a price tag of about $56 million. Means the total expenditure was around $56 million. Pollinating plants. What does it mean? The pollinating means what? The process of taking pollen from one place to another for fertilization. Pollinating plants. Now the next paragraph. On the Saturday night, when the news about the Columbia disaster broke, there was a shock and disbelief. The town of Karnal spent a sleepless night as thousands of households stayed glued to their television sets in the hope that Kalpana and the crew had somehow survived. A journalist wrote, "She was a heroine. It takes enormous ability to become an astronaut. You need to know a lot about everything, from biology to astrophysics to aeronautical engineering. In this age of super specialization, you must have encyclopedic knowledge to be an astronaut. Her achievement is awe-inspiring." See, what does it mean? Now, here, people were filled with grief. Wonder what happened on that day, on the Saturday night. People were filled with grief and were not able to believe the news of Columbia disaster. They were stuck to their television sets to get the news of Kalpana's survival. And it was a sleepless night. Nobody could sleep. A journalist called her a heroine. A journalist. He writes that he was a heroine. It is a matter of huge potential to be an astronaut. One needs to have thorough knowledge of every subject from biology to astrophysics to aeronautical engineering. Her achievements were actually remarkable. and her achievement is awe-inspiring. For millions of young Indians, the story of Kalpana Chawla, a girl from a small town who touched the skies, had become an inspiration. In a message that she sent from aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia to students of her college in Chandigarh, Kalpana said, "The path from dreams to success does exist. May you have the vision to find it, the courage to get onto it. Wishing you a great journey. There will surely be many who start off on this journey to fulfill their dreams." See here. For in this last paragraph, what does this paragraph says? Now, in this paragraph, Kalpana's story stimulated thousands of young minds to do something creative and innovative. She touched the skies and became an inspiration for many. She even sent a message from Columbia to the students of her college in Chandigarh, where she completed her graduation. She said, "The path of dreams to success does exist. May you have the vision to find it, the courage to get onto it, and wishing you a great journey." And there must be many people who might have started this journey to make their dreams reality. Now here, in this lesson, we come to know about the life of Kalpana Chawla and how she uh, became an astronaut and what tragedy happened with her. Now, afterwards, in the next video, we'll solve the question answers. Goodbye.